What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode, another part of this journey. You see my hands are a little dirty, not too bad. Because a while ago, before I painted the car and all, I cleaned the engine bay and the axles had busted. So anyways, I degreased it, did a pretty good job. So like the dirt and grease is like to the minimum for right now until I drop this beloved oil pan. I do want to apologize real quick to y'all. I got ahead of myself. I didn't film. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because y'all would have heard a lot of some bad words that that's not really appropriate for YouTube and all. But I ran into a couple of problems. Like always, when you're working on a freaking car, man, and especially when you get someone else's like project car and it might have went through a lot of hands, I have no idea, with this car, unfortunately, it was like minimum documentation. So it wasn't like with my DA where I gave the buyer like a pretty much a folder, a binder of everything. It was documented fairly well. This one, not so much. So it's been a lot of guessing. Fingers crossed. But anyways, I did run into a couple of problems. First thing one problem I got into was the prop. And actually, I'll show you guys that, which is down this thing here. That is your prop shaft that joins your transfer case to your front diff. No, it wasn't. I shouldn't have done. I had to do it. That hurt. But anyways, so I was getting that out of there, and it's just 4 bolts, M8 bolts, and one of the bolts was rusted, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it out of there, so I actually had to grind this thing out. And if you know how minimum room you have, do that. That was fingers crossed, kind of. So I got a solution. What I'm going to wind up doing, for one. See how that shaft is all rusted? I'm going to use my anti-seize, of course, and put anti-seize on the shafts of the new bolts. And I'm also going to go I'm not saying probably, I am. I'm going to go stainless steel cap screws style on that, because the engineers, they did a heck of a job on that as well. So you don't have enough room to get like a traditional socket and all. So anyways, that's one little run into I had, and this is actually, you can see, this is what they use to hold that prop shaft in on the 32s. So, like I said, I'm just going to pretty much go cap screw on that stainless steel, and you can see the difference in the shafts. Look how rusted this one is, and then that one, no rust. So that's why I had a problem. The other major problem I had, but thank God, was this here. What we're looking at is one of the M10 bolts that actually holds the oil pan from the bottom of the car, right? So that head, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's chewed up really bad. So I was like, God, I'm going to have to cut this thing out. I'm going to have to grind it. I'm going to have to do something. So I went to Harbor Freight and I picked up some supplies, thinking that, if I gave myself 3 options. So I was like, if I can't get it with this first option, then these 2 would be the other options. But thank God I was able to pick this up from Harbor Freight. It's a nice set, by the way, if you guys need one. It's like $33. M14 is missing because it's down on the ground for where I've been working. But the difference in the extractor, if you look at the shape of that, right? So that shape is designed to grab onto whatever your stripped or rounded off bolt is, right? Bolt head. And this is what your traditional socket looks like. 6-point anyways. There's also 12 points. So you can see that. Pick that up a little bit. There we go. That, and then you have that style there. So you can see the difference in the shape. And that's used to grab on the stuff when it's rounded off or stripped. So this worked. I was able to get it out, thank God. With that, I'll just have to pick up some new hardware. Now, onto the car. Oh, by the way, this was something that happened to me yesterday. or the previous video, I should say. That really sucks. So I'm gonna have to sand that down. I'm gonna have to sand that, and then I'm gonna have to paint that. Mask off, do whatever I got to. But yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. I can't leave it like that because that'll rust, and that's not good. Even with the cover that I'm gonna put down, still can't have that. So something that I want to tell you guys, we're going to tackle this job that's important and give yourself a lot of room. For one, pop your intake manifold off. Pop that off. And that's not really your intake manifold. They call it the charge chamber or something on this car, because it's not really the intake. It's got ITBs or whatever. But anyways, take that manifold off. Give yourself room. The other thing that you want to do is take your starter. Took my starter out. Take your starter out. That'll give you a lot of room, and it actually gives you room to access these guys. 1, 2, 3. So these 5 nuts is the last thing that is holding the old pan to the car, to the block. I did all the trouble before. I said before I have to get this crane in here and give myself pretty much the bare minimum room to do this, let me just go ahead, get all of the tedious work done. So I got all those bolts out, and I'm thankful I did, because of the problems that I ran into. So I had enough room to work and I was comfortable. The last thing I have to do, this down here, is my pressure sensor. I'm gonna have to remove that to get to that one nut. It's like, I know on film it looks easy, but it's not. There's no way that I can get a socket and all down on there. So I'm gonna have to do that. So bear with me. And actually, I kind of wish I had a tripod where I could just, or something I could wear on my head where you guys could see me working. But maybe if I can sit it up here. Yeah, see, that's not going to work. No, it might. All right, so let me go knock those off real quick. And by the way, you should see the size of the ratchet that I had to use. I looked up the torque specs on these bolts for the Sump, and they are only supposed to be between 23 to 31 foot-pounds. But I can guarantee you guys, whoever put this block together, they went overboard on the torques, man. It was really something. Really something, man. And I was shocked. But of course, these are on film. These ones are going to go easy, but that's okay. I'll take it, because it's been a afternoon of fighting and working really hard. I may even have to take that line out. Okay. Yeah, so I got to take that sensor out my way and that line. And you can see how rusted these things are too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I know everybody's been going zinc plated, but I like the way of zinc. I like the way it looks. But for me, honestly, man, I am a stainless steel guy, like with my hardware, if it permits, because you won't have to worry about rust. You know what I mean? If it's true stainless steel, it won't rust up. Just want to pop this off so you guys can see. Yeah. So that's what we're working with, and that's rust. Now I might be able to put that in something, a solution, and soak that, get the rust out of there. But at the end of the day, it's going to rust again. So for me, what I've been doing on this car, where it permitted, I've been going with stainless steel hardware, you know, so that's just something that I'm going to do. So I'm going to pause the video for right now. And then what I'll do is, once I'm ready to drop the pan down, I'll turn it on. You guys can kind of see that in action. And then I'll get to working on bringing that crane back over and supporting this engine so I can drop the subframe and get the pan all the way out. So hold tight, guys. Hopefully hopefully there's nothing else crazy that's going to happen. The craziness is gone. So hold tight. All right, guys, back at this thing again. Just a little bit to talk about, and I'm gonna get busy. So I'm about tired of looking at this thing. As you can see, it's still in the car, engine, pan, still, it's hot today. So actually I got the, I turned the lights off for right now. But anyways, let me get on, show you guys all that's going on. And there was a revelation that I didn't know in regards to these cars. So up there, let me turn the camera around. You're probably wondering, what the heck is this guy? So up here, I don't know if you guys can see that yet, but there's the bolts that I've already taken out. And I thought that's all I needed to do. That's what you're looking at right now is the transmission, right? So I thought it was just those bolts that I would disconnect from the pan, and then I'll be able to, you know, separate the pan from the block and all. But apparently there are two M6 bolts, and the only way that you can access that is you got to take the freaking transmission out or whatever to get to those bolts, and then you can drop the pan. Now, hopefully this thing can pick up the size of a GTR transmission. So this is the back. This is the transfer case. And all four-wheel drive vehicles would have that, a different version of it. But anyways, this is the transfer case. This is the very tail of the transmission. This here, if you want to know what this line or cable is, people that don't know, that's your Artesia solenoid. It's in there. So that's part of the four-wheel drive, which makes sense. But anyways, just get this in perspective. This is the transfer case, and then all the way up there is a transmission. This is an extremely long drive line. It is also very freaking heavy because of everything that's bolted onto it. So now, my mission for today is to get this thing all the way out. And what I mean by that is I'm going to take the subframe out, get the subframe, which is still here, get that out, and then I'm going to drop the engine and transmission at the same time. Just drop it straight down, unbolt the transmission, push it back, because I got a dolly, like a dolly here, 1,000-pound dolly. So, you know, this is, you guys are my proof. I'm not doing anything sketch. 1,000-pound. So that should be able to hold the transmission transfer case assembly. And once I do that, I'll be able to separate the engine, transmission, and I'll be able to get to those two M6 freaking bolts and drop the pan out of this thing so I can get this going. So that is my mission today. Not going to do a bunch of fluff and talk. I'm going to set the camera up and I'm just going to get busy. First thing I'm going to do is, for me, I'm going to drain my fluids. I don't have to touch the transmission fluid, but I got to touch that differential fluid. I mean, transfer case fluid that's in the back. I got to get that out of there. Yes. Yeah, so I'm gonna start draining that. Have that ready. And the drain should be here. This here's the drain. Drain that out, and then I gotta undo this line, and then I gotta undo the master cylinder line for the actual clutch actuation. And once I have that, I'm gonna go ahead and support the engine and all, and undo my transmission mounts here. I already pulled the prop shaft that's down on the ground. And guys, there's something that now that I'm remembering, I'll tell you. And it sucked in a way, but I'm kind of happy. I had to do a lot of freaking cutting. All the bolts were like seized and everything, man. This was miserable. So the last time I filmed, I had a lot of fun. Come to find out, this mount is busted inside of the body of the car, which is in here. it just spins. So you can't undo this. You see how that's just spinning? It's not supposed to spin like that. That's supposed to be steady where you can undo this nut. And what you're looking at, for people that don't know rear-wheel drive cars, especially with a two-piece drive shaft like the GTRs had from the factory, has what they call a carrier bearing or center bearing. It's like a universal joint pretty much, and this is the mount for it. So now that this really isn't secure, kind of glad of that. I'm kind of glad I didn't take it out on the road and beating on it, because my drive shaft and all would have come undone, and that would have been bad. So now I got two options. Either fix that, which, oh my God, you gotta pretty much undo these welds, and it's a lot of work, right? I don't have the capability to do that here. And that would cost a couple of dollars. So my other option now is I'm gonna get a aluminum one-piece drive shaft, which I was eyeing up before. And when it's time to do that, I will talk a little bit more in depth into this and everything. Just wanted to talk about it while I remembered it. So anyways, enough talking. It's time for me to get busy. This is the back of the transmission here. Hopefully no more surprises after this. And then the other thing that why I didn't want to really touch this line and all of this stuff is because I'm gonna have to now drain my Artesia system when it's all said and done. Not drain it, I'm gonna have to bleed it, and yeah, that's involved. And actually, here's the drain here for the transfer cases down on the lower, if you wanted to know. That up there is probably the fill port, but this is definitely the drain over here. So yeah, I got to drain it, undo this line, undo my master cylinder line. So, all right, I will check in later. All right, guys, welcome back. Just want to show you all the progress that's been made around. The subframe is out. These are the locating studs that's on the frame rails of the GTRs or Skylines. So yeah, I got that out. That's down. I gotta let it all the way down now. And what I'm doing pretty much is, you can see one of my jacks for a nice thick 4x4 block of oak that's supporting this thing. It's not that much weight really now on it, because I got the engine and all supported by the crane. So the only thing I have to do is just let my jack down, and what's going to happen, the subframe is actually going to come down onto the rails of the engine crane here. So that should be good, should be fine. And yeah, pretty much everything is good. Looks like I am now losing a lot of, wow, that's going to suck for me. But it looks like I'm losing a lot of transfer fluid. I got a little pile going on back there. Looks like something is bleeding. One thing that I had to do that I didn't know, and it is a lot of weight, I started taking down the transmission mount, and I seen the transmission starting to, like, you know, go down. And the technique that I did is what they call bumping it. So I was bumping it, and I was just watching. I was watching what was going on, and luckily I caught it with one side still kind of supported, so I was able to get a jack up underneath of that, and I'm actually holding the engine and everything up, so it's well supported. Let me show you this real quick up top. Bear with me. All right, so you remember from the last video too, way better of an angle, support angle now. There's definitely tension on there. I should have, honestly, in hindsight, I should have popped my turbo off. The engine did swing this way a little bit, and it scratched my shock tower here. But I think I'll be all right. We'll see. So yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at. I'm gonna go ahead and finish dropping that subframe down, and I'm gonna go ahead and lower the engine down. I'm gonna try to put the camera down so you guys can maybe see the subframe drop down. I don't know. This kind of stuff with a lot of weight, I like to try to focus as much as possible on what I'm actually doing. So I'm I may not film that. And I'm kind of glad that the other process I didn't film, because I was able, like I said, to mainly focus on the weight and how it was moving and shifting, and just make sure it wasn't going to be something I was going to damage something, or I was going to hurt myself really bad. So on that. Another thing, I should have brought that light up here, but yeah, I was able to disconnect that steering shaft, so I didn't actually have to take the rack out of the car. I was able to leave it on the subframe. You probably, like me, looking into the abyss, wondering what in the heck am I trying to show you guys, but you can kind of see it there. The light wasn't in the way, but hopefully that doesn't fight me going back up in the car. So yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get that, and then actually what I'll probably do, honestly, once I start lowering the engine down, then I'll film, and that way I won't have to focus on the weight as much. But another thing I'm gonna have to do here, let me just, as I'm lowering the engine down, I'll have to watch back here as well, and then just work the transmission down kind of at the same pace. You know what I mean? So just patience, slow and steady, you'll get it. So, all right, bear with me, guys. Just hold tight. All right, guys. After about three and a half hours of work, want to show you guys. Right, something's gone. Right, transmission's down. This was never supposed to happen, but it happened. I got it, guys. I got the transmission free from the car, and I just said, you know what? I'm in here. I'm in it. Just pull it. Just pull it. And I did. I did a thing. So engine is completely now out of the car. I keep focusing on this because I'm ecstatic. I got to look up the model. But guys, I swear I haven't even cleaned this thing. I haven't even touched this. This is exactly how it looks as I pulled it from the car. See how clean this is? This is a brand new clutch. Look at this, man. Milling marks is still in it. This is a brand new clutch. It's a OS DSP 440. So I know it's OS Geiken, but I don't know right now if it's a triple or a twin. But this thing is, look, it's minimum. And I want you guys to see that I'm not cleaning anything off of it. This is like a brand new clutch. So I lucked up, I guess, there. Probably next weekend or when I have time, I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna pop the pan off. I didn't even look to see if I could locate those two M6 bolts that I need to remove to get the pan out. But wow, this is crazy, man. I thought right now that I would get it to this point, but I got it down to this point. I'm gonna have to get a buddy to come over and help me when it's time to go back in with the transmission. I'm telling you guys, that transmission lives up to the hype. That thing is freaking heavy, guys. Very heavy. So that's what I'm going to wind up doing. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, or this part of the video up, and then I'll come back when it's time, when I've dropped the pan, talk to you guys a little bit, and then in a couple of weeks or another month or so, whatever, hopefully I'll have the pan back and back in the car, and this part of the saga, this part of the journey will be done. One other thing I want to talk about why I don't, and I'm very happy about this. I looked. If you guys can see these here, nowhere else on that flex plate are these markings or these holes, right? You know what this is, guys? This means that this has been balanced. This rotating assembly has been balanced to what's internally in there. So this is balanced. That's great. That means someone took the time to do it right. So that's what those are. If you ever want to know, you get a car or you get your stuff balanced, that's what they do. They'll take weight out. They'll either add it or they'll take it, but most of the time they take it out, and that's been bad. So, all right, I'll pick back up with this video in a little bit, but it's been fun, guys. It was a lot of maneuvering, a lot of work to get to that point. There's no need to really film. It was just praying to God that I didn't drop something heavy and do damage, and thank God I didn't. That's why I'm gonna have to get a buddy to come over and help me with that transmission when it's time to go back up. But anyways, stay tuned. I will be back. All right, guys. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Just do it live like it is right now. I'm gonna break this video up. So I'm gonna come back with part 2 of the pan job. That's what we'll do. We'll break it up. I'm sorry, guys, that I didn't film much of this, but like I said, it really wasn't much to watch. It was just a guy working really hard and diligent to get to what you see here. I did nick my bay on the frame rails, down on the rails. You can see that mark. It's kind of hidden. I'll probably just touch it up once the engine and all is back in. But other than that, all right, guys. Well, moving forward, keep being the best versions of yourselves. Never give up. Know every situation is a learning situation. There's a purpose. There's a plan. I love you guys. Be easy. Peace.